All right. Finally, we get to really hear from Odysseus coming up here in Book 9. And in fact, his audience will get to learn that he's Odysseus, which has been a little source of dramatic tension for us. I think then, just thinking even about the first line of Book 9, which you'll encounter as soon as you start, is the idea that Odysseus is cunning, but that he's also a liar. And so I think right at the beginning, Homer puts a question of credibility into the minds of his listeners, or of us, the readers. And so I think I'd like for that to be my suggestion for what you focus on in Book 9. If you can read through thinking about what are steps that Odysseus takes to make himself credible, and what are steps that any of us take to make ourselves credible. Odysseus and his companions will meet some different people in this book, and our whole notion of hospitality has been based on some sort of credibility as well. So I think if that's the guiding thread that you try to work through, how do you gain somebody's trust? What is somebody's trust worth? When do you believe somebody? What makes you believe somebody? And what are the repercussions of that belief? Those seem like questions that will help you find a through line throughout the book, even as you're enjoying some of the most famous parts of the Odyssey. I think also it might be worth thinking about, as you start to encounter stories with which you may be familiar, what are the surprising parts of the story to you? By which I mean, what are the parts that you don't remember having heard before? And I think that will tell you a lot about how the story is smoothed out over time. But those differences between the conventional version of the story that might be in like a children's Homer and the exact details of what Homer tells us, those might actually be the most interesting parts of the story. So if you think of this story as being a story you've heard before, and definitely some aspects of Book 9 will be familiar to you, what are the new parts, which are actually, of course, the original parts? So that's a funny temporal piece for you there. But I think thinking about credibility and then also just if you notice anything new will set you on a good path.